electrical and HVAC.
Welcome back to the Bold, White, and Blue podcast. Doing something a little different today.
Freestyle Friday.
Freestyle Friday. We have no script, no prompts, no topics.
We don't hardly ever anyway, Josh. Come on.
We got a
be
little
real.
something.
A little something here and there.
A little behind the scenes.
Man, I'm going to tell you, this week, though, it's been real. If we had to pick one thing to talk about, it would be almost impossible. As we started out our week, we were sure we were going to do this episode on AI because it's been such a captivating experience in our company.
A lot to learn. A lot to
Tons.
learn about it.
It's been amazing. So we've been using AI to question ourselves and everybody affiliated with us in a quest for truth. And while AI does not have all the answers, it's pretty insightful as to how they come up with those answers. So we worked on AI. We worked a little bit on our training center. We hung a massive set of lettering across our building.
Yeah.
What, you know what it says?
Bold, white, and
Bold,
blue.
white, and blue.
We're going to get our picture in front of that
Okay.
for like our little podcast thing so people will
Did you see
actually
that
be able
picture
to
they
see
took
it.
last night with the trucks backed underneath it?
I saw some trucks there this morning when I pulled up and I was like,
Oh, you have to see that picture.
All right,
It's pretty
something's
cool. The
going on.
lights come on. It actually shines on it. The techs love it, man.
what, the sign?
The sign. And
Yeah,
just,
sick.
this is the branding message,
Yeah.
which, we've really been figuring out that, you think branding is for your customers and to get seen. It's been wild how much we've bought into our own brand.
Yeah.
Like once we had our messaging right, everything's just been fun.
It's like the battle call.
Yeah, it's like bold, white, and blue, and then
March
perfect
in.
and protect.
Yeah.
And everything fits. Like our technicians are even making little TikTok videos and stuff, and it's like protect and perfect. And you see the smile on their face. It's real. Like these guys get it. They're like, okay, now I know why we're offering multiple estimates and all this. It's been crazy.
Yeah.
We've had a lot of friends that come over and want to help us fix trailers or hang the signage or do little things around the shop, and they feel part of something.
Yeah.
I'm humbled by that. I really am, because I've been doing this stuff for a long time.
Right. That's when I think a message is really successful, is when the message itself is something bigger than you,
Yeah.
but also it applies to every individual in that whole situation
be used
from
so many
every
ways.
end.
I know. I mean, we in our search for all this, like, how do we tell people we're not Ace Hardware? I think is how it started. You remember that?
Yeah.
Like everybody says Ace Hardware. We were like, okay, let's just make sure they know our colors are white and blue. And then it was like bold, white, and blue. We had that little
We had that little rap.
AI
hitter.
rap, and now it's a country song. But I can do it. It was you see them bold, white, and blue trucks with the Sharp Ace logo cutting across the upstate. That was just that little jingle
Yeah.
that was so cheesy. And next thing you know, everybody's walking around. You see them bold, white, and blue trucks.
Some
it's
people
just
didn't
over
like
and
it.
over and over, huh?
A couple people didn't like it.
Oh,
but,
they hated it at first, but it was so bad it was good.
right.
And
It
then
stuck.
yeah. And then we went down to roll it by the roar. Like, hey, what do you think about this? Like, they're like, it's a great idea.
Yeah.
And they came back with something totally different.
Yeah, they sent us that the first day, and I was like, Justin, I don't know if you're gonna like this. They said, "Well, we decided to change it to a country song." We're like,
Yes,
oh
it's more
no,
relatable. But I don't know. I mean, I sent it to some of my friends. They still have it, and they'll call me. I see them bold, white, and blue. So anyway, it started out with the bold, white, and blue trucks, and then we're like, we're a replacement model company, so we're always looking to upgrade or perfect a system or a home. And a lot of people don't like that. They're like, I just gonna fix my stuff, and that's fine, and we do. So we'll protect a home and fix their pipes or their gas piping or whatever they want. But we're always looking to say, hey, your home is your greatest asset. Let's help you perfect it. Let's upgrade systems. And so we say, really, that's what we do. We protect homes, but we also perfect homes.
Why do you think people don't want to do that?
I mean, I think it just comes down to money. But the crazy thing is the stuff that we offer, it's the cheapest it will ever be. And it's stuff that has to happen anyway. In our company, we never, ever try to sell you something you don't need or want.
Yeah.
If you don't want it, we're done talking. We're just gonna fix it and protect, right?
The way I kind of think about it,
Yeah.
just think about it now is like, I'm gonna sell you this pair of blue jeans.
Yeah.
It has $500 in the pocket of the blue jeans, but I'm gonna sell you this pair of blue jeans for $200.
Right.
Somebody would look at you and say,
I'll
dude,
take
you're
it.
no. I think they would look at you and say, $200 for blue jeans? You're crazy.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand that the $500 is in the pocket of the blue jeans,
Or they think you're lying.
or they think you're lying.
Yeah.
Either way, but it's like,
Yeah, because if they knew 500 was in there, they're buying it. But
yeah.
so they don't believe you stuck it in there, and that's the thing. Like, equity's not seen, but we've seen it work year over year, now decade over decade in my situation between construction and here, that the money you spend in a home now is almost never wasted. You know, you'll go and put granite countertops in a home, you'll paint a home, you'll do lots of different things on a home that you really won't ever get that money back out of, unless you're planning on selling it like immediately and just getting an exact return on investment, possibly. But your home's systems for life actually give you great equity. You know, if you have a you know, it's like, you know, your roof matters. Like if it's an older roof, they'll dock you for that on appraisals. Older air conditioning systems, decrepit plumbing, crawl space conditions, they'll knock that stuff down pretty heavy. And then you're kind of forced to either take that hit, or you can go ahead and upgrade at that point. Which I always tell people the cheapest time to do that's today.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even want to sell on this thing today, but this is always, you're
It's
right.
a good point, though,
it's
to
crazy.
talk about.
It's crazy, yeah, because, you know, I mean, we went out on a water heater today, and the repair cost on it was, it had quite a few issues, some expansion tank issues, a gas valve, I think something, or the burner assembly may have been changed out. But anyway, the repair cost was fairly high on a almost 9-year-old unit. You take the repair costs and you multiply it, and you look at the lifespan that's left, and you're like, it's way in your best interest to replace this thing. And they're thinking about it, but it's amazing to me. I'm like, to me, they didn't do it right away, and I said, call that customer back and tell them I'll come down on the cost, but please don't put that much money in that old water heater. You're gonna lose it, 100%. But
Why do you think good enough applies to like home systems? Like, my air comes on when I click it over to air, and my heat comes on when I click it over to heat, and the water gets hot eventually. Like,
out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
I mean, do you go home and look at your air conditioning system?
Now that I work here, I actually, because we rent, so we're in an apartment, but I roll by and I look at it and I'm like, man, that thing looks terrible. Yeah. We got some junk like hanging off the back wall of the house, and I'm like, I don't think this is even safe. I'm not sure. Is it like
ductwork going up the side?
No, it's like, it looks like a panel box just busted open on beside the air conditioning unit. And I'm like, this isn't really my responsibility.
Yeah.
So I can't really do anything about it, but so, I mean, I'm in a different situation than most people, but if they saw that as the homeowner, I would hope they would immediately pick up the phone.
If he's going to sell it, if he's going to sell that house at some point, he's going to have to do something about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, man, I don't know exactly, you know, obviously, you know, different points in your life, you know, it just comes down to money. Like, do I have enough to do it, or do I need to get by? And that's why we have the protect in there, because we're going to protect you first, your home second, and then we're going to perfect you third. You know, so perfecting things is not always the best option, but it is certainly in our region in South Carolina. We've neglected these homes for so long and just done the bare minimum of these homes so long, because this has traditionally been a little bit poorer state. You know, a lot of people struggled, and you know, you just get by a real thrifty mentality, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's time. I mean, you're sitting on gold mines. Every time you have a piece of property now, that's an asset. Yeah. And we believe that. We know it. So, yeah. But yeah, so, you know, we had that happen. We have had air conditioning systems are a big one, you know, where people just will kind of, you know, just enough to get by. Yeah. I mean, you want to throw that number back out there, how we kind of determine if it's necessary or not.
So this is not a number that we came up with.
Right.
Which, the reason we say that, I mean, we would have loved to come up with it, but we say that because it's not in ACE's best interest that we came up with this number. It is an actual industry recognized standard. Even from like Energy Star and companies that are outside of just the HVAC sales business, is the rule of 5,000. So like you were talking about earlier, you have a unit that's this old. So to make it simple, you have a unit that's 10 years old. If the cost of your repair times the year age of the unit, so that 10 years, if that number equals 5,000 or greater, it is in your best interest to actually go ahead and replace it.
For the listeners, I'm going to simplify that. So you're saying, so you call me out on a unit that's 10 years old, and my technician comes out there and says the cost to fix your machine is $500.
Yes.
Okay, that puts now the cost of that or that multiplier. So 500 times 10 is at $5,000. Okay. At what point would you say nationally recognized is the time that you need to replace that unit?
Right there.
Right there. 5,
right there. It's it. If the repair cost in that scenario, if your unit is 10 years old, if your repair cost is $500 or over, it is in your best interest in the long run
to go ahead and spend. I think average system for us is $10,000 to $12,000, right? So $10,000 to $12,000 at that point.
That's just if you pay it all up front, though. That's why we offer the financing that we do. Like you're going to keep living in that house, so you pay what $100
bucks a month,
a month, and you reap that benefit. You have a $12,000 HVAC system sitting in your home for $100.
So with us, like if a technician goes out there and it's a $500 repair, is 10 years old, they're right there at the best recommendation will be replace. But certainly not the end of the world if they decide not to. Right. But let's say that's a $900 repair bill, which is certainly common, or maybe even more. Let's say it's a compressor and it goes up even higher. So you have a $900 repair bill on a 10-year-old system. Now that multiplier takes it up to $9,000, and it would actually be a disservice to the customer to sell them a repair.
Yeah, and even from, let's look at the immediate financial impact of it, because really that I feel like people live in the immediate of finances more than they do in the long term. So let's break that down. So we'll finance you a full system for $100 something a month, or so you can pay me $100 right now
and get a new system.
Yeah. Or you can pay me $900 right now because you're probably not going to finance a $900 repair. How does that look right now?
If it's the end of the year, holidays, and you can come up with $100 or not even, or maybe even $0, and you get a month delay on the financing, so 0 down, and then your first payment comes a couple months later at $100, you offset that $900 expense right there, and then say taxes come in, you get a refund, you can pay it off, and then you never took a financial blow for your family. So that's why, that's exactly why the technician loved the messaging of protect and perfect, because in that situation, you may be making someone's life a lot easier. Now, this doesn't apply to everybody. Some people just say, man, I'd rather pay $900 when it goes out. I got plenty of money. It's not, don't worry about it. Like, I'll pay you when it's time. For those guys, I always say, look, man, you want to pay $10,000 for a new system today, or patch this thing together for 3 more years and pay $18,000, because that's where I think it's going, especially with the new Sears and the new refrigerants. 3 to 5 years, you're looking at $18,000. It's coming.
Yeah.
So the cheapest time to buy is today. And once our technicians understand that, hey, we're not a company. Hey, let's talk a little bit about our meetings this past 2 weeks. We have made it a point where we do not speak about money. Have you noticed that?
In hindsight, now that you're saying it, you haven't. It's all just been process, not really money.
Ticket prices. We've had technicians with $0 tickets. We've had technicians with, low ticket prices. We've had technicians struggle. I mean, it's that time of year where people, generally don't want to spend, and it's hard on the technicians, and they're used to companies. We've had so many technicians tell us, man, it's just so refreshing to work here because you're not harping on make me money, make me money, make me money. And I believe if you treat people right, then the money will be an afterthought. And if you're only finding enjoyment in your business because of the money you make, man, that's just a horrible life.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what it got to me in the building business at some point. It was just always chasing money, or squeezing the lemon to just try to get a little bit of money out of something. And anyway, so we've been focusing, having a lot of fun. I've been enjoying working with these technicians, the young ones and new ones, on just all I look at is their jobs. Like, did you take me some great pictures so I can look at it? Did you do great work? Brag about it. Show me a video that you and your buddy did together. If I give you a helper, I want you to use him to have fun with you. I'll take a video. I want you guys to ask the customer if you can do 5-star service for them. Would they rate you? I want you to ask them if they mind putting a yard sign in their yard, because they're not going to let you put a yard sign in their yard unless they like you. Bottom line. And you better do good work if they're going to let you stick a sign in their yard. So we've been doing that. Did you leave them multiple estimates? Yeah, you did. You went out on a 10-year-old system here and you charged them $900 for that repair. And I see that you did not even offer them a new system. Do you feel like you really did that customer a service? Oh, absolutely. I saved them a ton of money. They didn't have to buy a new system today. No, you're looking at that very, very, very wrong. You kind of hurting my customers here. They have to have the right to say no. They have to know what's in their best interest. And I believe that with everything in me. And it took me a while. Because you always put yourself in their shoes. Well, I don't want to come with $10,000, but you're going to anyway. You're going to. You might as well do it now with someone who's on your team than somebody who's not. And you don't want to get in a situation where that thing's broke down in the middle of the night, on a holiday, on a weekend, in the middle of a cold snap. Because guess what? You're not getting no deals then.
Right.
We tell our guys, like, now's the time to tell them. Be ahead of it. So that way, and this happens more than I can tell you. They call and say, man, y'all still on that estimate you gave me 2.5 years ago? I should have done it back then. I'm sorry. Because it was a year and a half ago, we ran a special for $6,000 for a full system install. I mean, we had people like, there's no way you can do that. You can't do that. But we did. And we did take a loss on them, but we gained a lot of customers and a lot of loyal customers by doing that. And it was our intro kind of into our area. Like, hey, like, we're here, we're a player. Like, take us serious. We're going to give you great service and great pricing. And we still get calls off that number. Like, y'all still doing that $6,000 special? Like, no, that ship's flown. Like, we can't even dream of doing that special now. Yeah. So it was so popular. But anyway, my point with that is, look, here we are a year and a half later, and we can't even touch that pricing. What's going to happen another year and a half later? So this happens. So you're always doing the customer the service by giving them the option to put it away once and forever. Also on the flip side, a close friend of mine called me, and he had some issues and cold night, and his house didn't heat. We went out there and we had changed his unit out, but we didn't change some other component, a condensate pump or a condensate line or something we didn't change out. And I said, and they left him an estimate to do that later. And he's like, I mean, come on, man. He said, you're under my house. Why didn't you just change me there? And I said, you're right, man. You're 100% right. We're going to change it out for free right now because, yeah, we're not going to touch this major component in your house and then just glaze over this old condensate pump that could shut down on you. Let's just change it out. Yeah. I mean, it's not expensive. So that's kind of the theory and kind of what's been behind what we're doing this week with the new technicians. So really for 2 weeks, zero discussion of money. And I even for myself, I try not to look. We know daily to the day how much money we make, right? You see that on our tracking and our wheel and all that. And I try not to even look at it. It just doesn't matter because if you're not getting the process right, you might win a month or two here or there, but you're going to suffer. And we've lived both sides of that.
I think the thing I gained the most out of in the meetings so far this week was you posed the question. You said, who here thinks that the process is the hardest thing you have to do in your job? Multiple hands went up.
That was crazy.
But that is the right answer though. And it should be the hardest thing because that process, that's the locomotive. It's hard to get a locomotive started. It's real slow out of the gate. But are you stopping a moving train? No, you're not. Once it's rolling, and we gone.
It's hard to stop a rolling blue and white truck.
Yeah, that Corsair.
That Corsair.
It's cutting.
It's cutting across the upstate.
It's cutting. So to me, that's the process.
It is.
Right now, we're getting the train out of the station. We're pulling out.
Yep.
And just going, rolling slow. And if you looked at that, like if say you had no idea how a train worked, you'd be like, man, I'm never jumping on that thing. Look how slow it's going. You think I'm going to get anywhere? I could walk faster than that. but then you see one blow by you,
mm-hmm.
be like, man, why didn't I get on that?
Did you see that? What was that with a show called? It was called. It was about them building a train track. It's on Netflix. Anyway, I don't know how big a Netflix supporter, but anyway, it had a scene in there where they were building the track. Oh, and it was a Native American that was beside him on a horse, and the train they wanted to race. I can't remember, maybe a quarter of a mile, but maybe it was a mile. It was a mile race or something, and because they were like, that thing's so slow, I'll race it. My horses are better. Horses are faster, and they literally raced, and it's historical.
Mm-hmm.
And the fastest race horses they could come up with, and they put it next to this locomotive, and shoot the gun. Man, those horses tore off out of there. I mean, they left that thing in the dust.
Mm-hmm.
And within the last 100 yards, that thing blazed by them.
Yeah.
I mean, it came down. It took them a minute. It was on flat ground. It took them a minute. And that thing came flying by those horses and was gone for as long as it wanted to go now.
Mm-hmm.
And the horses were shot, obviously. They're done.
Yeah.
You know, that was it. They had that mile in them.
Yeah. You're just shoveling coal at that point.
Then here you're going 100 miles now.
Yeah.
At faster speeds than a horse. And it's the same theory. Your business systems, man, need to be a locomotive. I like that analogy. You know, you build the processes, you build the machine,
mm-hmm.
you feed it every day, and it begins to escalate, snowball.
Yeah. And you lay that track.
Not like SEO, though.
Not like SEO. Let's,
oh, boy.
Woo. We
Do y'all
can
want to
bag that.
Let's digress.
Sure. All right.
All right.
Let's
So
roll.
we've been dealing with that, too, this week.
Yeah.
SEO. If you're a marketer, I'm so sorry. Plug your ears. I don't even know if I want to get into this, but anyway.
No, we should. we should at least. I mean,
touch on it real quick.
Yeah, let's be real about it.
Okay, so SEO is the process that is no process. Have you ever asked a marketer what their process? How do they build their locomotive for SEO? And there actually is a process. I mean, we kind of know what it is. And you know, it's basically a lot of transparency, a lot of truth, and a lot of hard information, and a lot of outlets that feed back into your website. That's SEO.
Yeah.
But you talk to a marketer and you say, look, we've been asking marketers, say, look, we've been spending years and years and years on building SEO and all this kind of things, and it's marginal at best. And we kind of thought about it. We actually kicked them out of our website and said, just stay out, we got it. We leave it alone, and the SEO starts to go up. But we haven't touched it.
Mm-hmm.
But all we're doing is extra marketing efforts, you know, boots on the ground, a lot more relationship stuff, a lot of stuff that's picked up and detected by, you know, algorithms of Facebook and Meta and Google and all these different things, right? So we kind of say, okay, so it's starting to feed into here, it's working. And then we say, you know, we have a problem on our website. We have slow load speed. If anybody in our audience knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy, would be great at this point. We simply want someone who knows how to help increase load speed. So we start on this. We say, okay, we're going to interview all these companies, and we bring them in, and we say, hey, I don't want you selling me your marketing package, your holistic marketing package, which is wholly unsuitable for any company. You know your product better than they do. You care about your product more than they do, and you have more time to work on it than they do. And I'm just going to go off on a tangent, I can tell. So,
can I throw something in
there?
there?
Yeah, anytime, man. Remind me to get back to that.
I'm just thinking about.
I'm going to get off on a tangent. I need to go back to this one.
I'm thinking about that train. So to me, I'm thinking about SEO is like you're throwing coal in the fire for the train to spin in a circle. Or go backwards.
You should title this SEO is dead. And I see tons of these on YouTube and stuff. SEO is dead. No, SEO is real. It's still relevant, but it is so dead because 99.99% of marketers don't know how to help your SEO. And I know that. And I will challenge any marketer that says, Justin, you're an idiot. I can have your SEO fixed. Oh, wait. Is it going to be 6 months?
Yeah.
6 months, you should see a result.
And then
several years later, you should start to escalate. And one day, it happens for you.
And then when it's
I've been doing this 20 years.
When you're spinning in circles, they're gonna be like, well, we don't know. So why don't your guy in the engineer room jump in the fire and see if his fuel?
Oh man,
see if he burns it
y'all
better.
are watching a stress relief session here because been many intense arguments and wrestlings in the marketing department here over the years, but we've come
Now
and
we have
resolved
fun. Now we have
ourselves to just have fun with it and do us, and that's why you see this podcast. That's why you see our trucks. That's why you see the goofy messaging. And you know what? We appreciate y'all's support. We know it works. We know y'all know we're in the community now. We know y'all know. Everybody knows we're not Ace Hardware.
Yeah,
that's a win.
Mission
They couldn't even do that.
Yeah,
you know. And so anyway, and you got me off my point.
Sorry, my bad.
That's okay. So
Roll
anyway,
back,
all
roll
we
back.
wanted was load speed, right?
Yeah,
Can you give me load speed?
fast and functional.
Yeah, and so they're like, well, load speed's a difficult one. Okay, I understand that. Let's look at your location. Let's look at your longevity. Let's look at your content. No, content's got nothing to do with it, really. A few little things here and there. But can you just tell me how you're going to address my load speed? Now, if you are a website expert, which I found out 90% of them when we asked them to code for us don't know how to code. But they've been charging us the same amount that very high-end marketing companies charge. And it's what? Okay, I'm gonna tell you. I know what the number is. I'm gonna write it down on a page right here. Okay.
I'm gonna try not to watch you.
Don't watch me.
Yeah,
I'm gonna write a number
I'm
down.
not gonna watch how many numbers.
And I want people to tell me if this is a number that they relate to when they talk to a marketer. This seems to be the magic number that they want before they ever prove a result. What number is that?
I already know this answer.
What is it?
Well, we just talked about it, didn't we? 5,000.
Yeah, everything's 5,000.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's my
There it
number.
is.
It's 5,000. 5,000.
It's like Wilt Chamberlain holding up the 100.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway,
How much do you want? 5,000.
so I'll tell you what. For 5,000, we're gonna look at your keywords. We're gonna look at how competitive those keywords are in your industry. And I have a story to tell you about how in 6 months I put this website here number one in all searches. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, he was a gunny sack maker, but you're in the most competitive industry in the world, so I can't make that promise to you.
Yeah. I got two keywords.
I could build a website. if I took right now and branded the bold, white, and blue, I could rank number one on bold, white, and blue tomorrow because it's just not a highly searched item. So if you're in a competitive business, you're in for the long haul. I had another one say, SEO comes down to one thing, money. Not so much, guys. Don't buy that. Do you have to spend a reasonable amount of money? Sure. But it's very much how you spend the money, not just throwing money at it.
If somebody tells you that,
Run.
you tell them I got two keywords for you. See ya.
See ya.
Goodbye. I got two keywords.
Goodbye.
Good riddance.
Yeah. That reminded me of a funny story one time. We were framing houses, and this carpenter was he was a helper, and my brother-in-law said he was messing with him, and he just kept messing with him. He's like, I got two words for you. Loser. And I was like, I said, oh, that just set the whole crew off right there because, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the box at the time. And, and he was just getting madder and madder. When you get mad, you get stupid.
Yeah.
So he just throws out there, he slams that wood down, and he goes, I got two words for you. Loser.
That ain't right.
Anyway, y'all can tell that we're not real high on our marketers right now, which we don't really think we really need too much of. I mean, you need marketers, but you don't need some of the stuff that's out there. Yeah. And listen, if you are a marketer that is diligent, that is communicative, as y'all hear me say it all the time. Creative. Yeah, you got that guy, then we want to talk.
Yeah.
And we have a check waiting for him. But he got to be part of the team so he can communicate and create. There we go. Okay. So
we're not putting any of our current team or anybody on. We're not putting them on.
No,
blast.
we fired those.
We're not putting them.
We fired those.
No, the one we're actually using.
Oh, the one we're actually using?
Yeah.
Not yet.
Right now.
Yeah. Hey, look,
I'm not sending any messages in that way, but
we're just but our current team wants to create, and communicate, So they have a chance. So you're saying there's a chance. Look, man, the SEO. As far as I'm concerned, you ever seen the movie Moneyball?
Oh yeah.
So what was the main thing in that whole movie that they look for a baseball player to be able to do?
He gets on base.
Get on base. The only thing I'm looking for in this whole wide world is load speed. So
you got to point at me.
Load speed. Wait.
Yeah.
For all you guys who don't know, in our company, when I hired Josh here, I brought him in to help with some of this stuff and some overall statistics and truths in our company, and then his job was going to be to communicate those things for me. And I told him, I said, he likes baseball too, and those of y'all know me that know that I coach a lot of youth baseball, and I really enjoy that sport. It's a nice diversion from what we do here. But when I hired Josh, I said, Josh, you ever seen the movie Moneyball? He goes, nope. I said, watch it tonight. It's your first project.
Yeah.
And he came in the next day. I said, you're Peter Brand. You remember that?
No, yeah.
And so we're sitting around the meeting, in our team meeting, and I said, I want to introduce our new hire. This is Peter Brand. And everybody's like, okay. And I said, they didn't even know who Peter Brand was. So we had to show them a clip of Moneyball. And Peter Brand, for those of you guys who don't know, was the one who was hired by Billy Beane, true story of the Oakland A's, to be able to take a low-budget team and make them champions. Mm-hmm. And he nearly did it. Mm-hmm. They wind up taking that formula that Peter Brand had come up with that was actually an old formula by somebody. Do you remember who actually wrote the formula originally?
His name's escaping me right now. Is it Bill James?
Yes, I think it was.
Maybe.
Yeah, it sure was. That's ringing a bell. So anyway, Peter Brand came up, had found this old article written by a statistician that showed that if you could just get on base and every player was an on-base expert, you had a high probability of winning, mm-hmm. in spite of everything else. And so they wanted a recruiting mission to hire only people that could get on base. Well, in a baseball team, you want guys that can do more than get on base generally, right? Yeah. Well, they won a lot of games. They wound up taking the Boston Red Sox wound up taking that formula several years later and winning the World Series with it. With was that Terry Francona who was managing that team at the time? I can't read. I think it was Terry Francona. So anyway, that's the whole point. And so we brought that philosophy in here with Josh, and we nicknamed him Peter Brand. And he needs to find the formulas that we need to get on base. Mm-hmm. To get on base, your SEO, make sure you have a site that's friendly and loads fast. Mm-hmm. We're gonna put it out there, ain't we?
We're putting it out there.
I believe it, man. Yeah. I believe it. So that's the kind of stuff we get into, this week. And I mean, even before I came up here, I was running calls. I was out working with some of the young techs, working on gas problems and tankless water heaters, and just working all the time. But it's so fun because they're bought in. Man, I pull up, my technicians are struggling right now, and they have a smile on their face. This is the first time in years I've had young men that are happy to work. And I know it's not because I'm finding different young men. I think they just have a clear direction. Men want that beacon out there. Where are we mm-hmm. going? Where are we going?
Yeah.
And I think that's so important in our homes. Dads, husbands, fathers, that we, our sons and daughters look up to their mothers or fathers, and they know where they're headed. They know where they're going. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be, we can get bogged down in all the minutia of how to raise my child right, or how to, develop my relationship with my wife, or how to be the head of a household, or we can read books, and we can go to church, and we can do all these different things. But man, find your why.
Yeah.
And just stick to that. And that's who you are.
We're tunnel visioned. I'd say that's definitely a man thing, to be tunnel vision. And
for sure.
It usually gets negative.
That's why women's eyes sit out here. Did you know that?
No.
No, for real. So our eyes work a little differently than a woman's eyes scientifically. Mm. A woman can see more behind her than you can.
Interesting.
Yeah. but they always look straight ahead. No matter, like, if you're looking at them, they're not going to acknowledge that, but they see you. It's crazy.
That is crazy.
Whereas we are designed to focus.
Yeah.
There is the enemy. I need to take it out.
Right.
I believe that.
But a tunnel vision does not work if there is not a light at the end of the tunnel.
Oh man, we were in two different places, but okay, I'm following you now.
There is no tunnel in your vision without the light at the end. That's what creates the whole thing. That's your why, is the light at the end of the tunnel. What are you walking towards? If it's like there's no light there, there's nothing, you're lost. You're straight lost.
You're right. You know, it's kind of funny. I was talking to one of the techs at lunch today, and he was talking about how he's really embraced some different ideas on, you know, that for a human to be ultimately happy, he has to have hope and a dream. And that's kind of what you're describing right there. That's that light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
And then if you have that dream or you have that hope and you begin to bring everything into a parameter of that's where I want to go. And I'm going to go on another tangent. I'm back. My mom was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
You know her?
Yeah, definitely.
But
she is.
if she's sharing in church, like, it's like a shotgun, like pow, pow, pow. It just goes everywhere. You never know where she's going to hit. I'm kind of the same way.
And then Victor's machine gun. that man, I've never seen somebody like orate like him, because I sit beside him sometimes, like kind of on his row. He's got these note cards, but I feel like he's never looking at the note cards. Like he glances down every now and then, but this man can just rattle off stuff so fast. Yeah, that's like, oh wow, that's true, and that's true, and that's true.
It's because he lives it.
Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, we're unscripted today.
Yeah,
but we're talking about things that is in everybody's life, is in our life, and we're gonna go back to where I was talking about, which was having that hope and that dream and that singularity of purpose. You know, in James he says a double-minded man is unstable in all of his ways. Like, if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to make consistent decisions. Mm-hmm. You know, and I can't stand. I talk to a lot of business owners, and I really can't stand when I hear, and this is a true story. One guy just blatantly says, and I've been in several business meetings where they encourage, you know, wealth building or market dominance and things like that, and it always has a bit of an ick to it to me. But where it's like, I want to be a $50 million company in 3 years, and I will walk over anybody to do it. That guy is down to like 3 or 4 trucks now. Like, he went from like 30 trucks to 3.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
You know, what singularity of purpose is there in running roughshod over all of humanity to make a dollar, a currency that is failing?
Yeah, you can grow very fast, but you're going to die very fast on the other side of that growth.
Yeah, and you're hollowing. And once you're hollow, you got nothing to give your employees, you got nothing to give your customers, you got nothing to give your marketers, you got nothing, because you have no substance, you have no depth. And business owners can find themselves there. That's a warning. Like, you can get there chasing dollars. Don't do it. I was advised against that, and my nature is actually, you know me, is it's, while I have to make a certain amount of money because I have a lot of responsibilities, I would love a world where the dollar wasn't the currency we were chasing, truthfully. I was talking to a young man this week, and he's a very intelligent young guy, and a lot of very intelligent people can have a bit of a lazy side to them because, and we all have that, but they have that lazy side because they see the end already. They're good chess players, and they're like, why am I going to work this hard for a diminishing dollar to be part of the system? They're right. They're 100% right. And that's why we're having a hard time getting young people to work, because they are smart. They have been shown a way not to be entrapped by money and the glitter and actually live a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now, so I explained to him, I said, you're right. I could tell, like, he hadn't been talking like that. Everybody else been telling him, get a job, go, just work. And that's true. And I gave him the same message, but I went at him a little different. And I said, man, look, I said, you're looking at it like I work for 8 hours and I'm going to make $150 or $160. And I'm going to be crawling in spider webs and doing that day in, day out, day in, day out. Then that $160 is going to be, I'm going to have $180 worth of bills that day. So I'm negative 30. Like, what's the point? Excuse me. And I said, man, I think we're looking at this wrong. We have a commandment. If a man doesn't work, he's not going to eat. You have a commandment to feed your family. If a man doesn't provide for himself, he's worse than an infidel. I said, so there's all these principles that you have inside of you that you know you need to work. Is he talking about working for currency only? Mm-hmm. And I said, man, you're getting paid in so many ways. Your character's being built. You're being a teammate, a comrade. You're standing there in the cold, the hot. You're getting parsed down. You're receiving knowledge. And at the end of the day, you get a little token of appreciation so that you can give that to your family who just needs a bite to eat and a roof over their head. I said, but all the other thing is really the currency. Mm-hmm. I said, the dollar's not the currency you're receiving. All that you're investing in yourself. Mm-hmm. 10 years from now, because he's trying to start all kinds of businesses, I said, 10 years from now or 5 years from now, after you've been through the fire, you're going to have enough character, enough I call it stick-to-itiveness. I know that's not a word, but that's a good word.
It's sloshly.
It's like sloshly. But anyway, I have to ask him about stick-to-itiveness. That's got to be in the dictionary.
I like that.
I said, you're going to have enough of that moxie, okay? You're going to have enough knowledge. I said, you're going to have enough skill to turn around and actually start a business that's going to pay you many times more than the currency you're receiving right now. So it's an investment in yourself.
And it compounds. Like
big time.
If let's say let's use it like this, to use two monetary. I know this doesn't work exactly, but let's say I go in with 100. Day one, I have no resilience, stick-to-itiveness.
Yeah.
I have
like
none of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the conditions, the toll keeper says, all right, you pay me $100 to get past. Mm-hmm. Just took you out, cleans you. Mm-hmm. The next day you come back, all right, I got my 100 again, but the conditions don't ask as much from me because I'm ready. Now you come to the toll keeper, your toll's 80 today. I just brought back 20. Mm-hmm. The next day you come back, you come in with 120. The condition says, you owe me 60 today. You see where this is going? Mm-hmm. It compounds on itself. Mm-hmm. You're gaining day over day over day, mm-hmm. but you're judging it all based on that first day mm-hmm. or that first week where you don't exactly see that return.
That's such a great point too, because it's like the young, we've been really on the youth. I guess that's where we're at in our company, is teaching and training. But so many of them are, they're expecting that payout day one. In other words, they're expecting to already have that reserve day one. They're expecting to be paid the full value with equity mm-hmm. on day one. And it doesn't work that way. They need it, but youth always needs things. I watch documentaries and nature documentaries and things like Young Lions. Man, those young males go out there, man, and they look rough. They fighting, they scrapping, they killing each other. They're starving. They're eating whatever they can find laying around. And they just look like old flea bitten, but the ones that make it, they're a force. Mm-hmm. The ones with the big manes and the pride behind them, and that roar that comes across the savannas.
Check.
Hey, they didn't get that because they were born with it. They got that because they earned it. Mm-hmm. And a lion always earns that ability. And so, we talk about that, having the heart of a lion. That's where that bold comes from. Mm-hmm. You got to be tough, mm-hmm. And the stupider you want to be, the tougher you got to be. But eventually you're going to make a change in this company. Yeah. We always say, guys, we had a young technician today. He's going to laugh when he listens to this because I know he listens to him. But he was putting in a water line, and he had sprinklers. He knew there were sprinklers there. And he goes and he just runs that trencher right on through the yard and puts that water line in. About a 2-hour job for us normally, right? He's still there. He's like, well, I got to fix all these sprinkler lines I broke. I said, you knew they were there. I said, you talked to them about boring a line under them? Well, yeah, they didn't want to do it. I said, so then you just cut their sprinkler lines, or were you an authority? Did you tell them what had to happen there? Well, they didn't want to spend the money. I said, then you could have said, if I cut a line, then we have to replace it because we don't know where they're at. Then that's an additional fee. But you didn't communicate. And you were not creative with your solutions. And so you were a little stupid. He's a smart guy, but he was a little stupid. And so now he's going to work really hard, so he's got to be really tough. Because it's Friday night, and guess where young men want to be on Friday night? Not out putting a water line in.
Yeah.
So, and we have it. We have that policy, Here, hey, we're not going to bail you out if you can bail yourself out. Yeah. You see a lot of our trucks riding out with one technician in them because we're not going to send two where one can get the job done.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been doing, man.
And then two become worth four.
Exactly.
Right.
And when you do put two together, man, I like quoting scriptures, man. Two's better than one, and a threefold cord is not quickly broken. Mm-hmm. So you get 3 ace technicians. You got the bold white and the blue out there.
You better look out.
We're gonna move something.
What'd you throw down?
Don't you? I mean, I love being proud of the guys in a good way. Of the guys that work for me. I think they're tougher than me or better than me. I mean, we've been hiring. We got one new hire. He's actually down there organizing the warehouse right now, sweeping the floor, and he's very happy to do it because he's a very qualified individual. He's was a highly paid manager already, and he came here because he wanted a reset in his life. He did not feel that he had that dream, that hope, in the radar for himself. And I respect him a lot, and I hired him as a helper, and he was willing to do this for a short time or for a reasonable amount of time to learn the trades. But I just have this feeling that I invested in something. The same way I did with you. I mean, smart guys that have qualities that surpass my own. And he's down there. I walked down there a minute ago, and he's just got things already coming into order down there. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he was a manager of a large supermarket chain. He was preparing to be a regional or district manager of some sort, and very well compensated for it. And I know that's the precursor to an extremely next level organized fleet and warehouse here at Ace. Mm-hmm. And it's just so fun to watch these guys. Well, yes, I'm boss, and you got to be careful like that if you're an owner of a company or in management, to realize that yes, they're going to do what you say, and they have to do what you say, and you're going to structure the day, and you're going to keep the ship moving along the way you always have. And for a time, you're better at it than everybody. But that better not be real long. If you're hiring good and you're in tune with your technicians, every one of them have something better than you. I mean, we just kind of funny. We're talking about we launched that prize for whoever could make the nicest video on job video, and it's kind of like funny. We already know who's going to win it every week. Bam, just like that. Why? Mm-hmm. There's a talent this guy's got, right? Yeah. He can do this stuff. He knows technology. He likes it. He's a ham on camera. And the partner we put with him is a pretty good one, too.
Yeah, they both got that goof in them.
They got that goof.
Yeah.
And, we already know. We're like, man, and I even told him, I said, man, when you go out, help me out. I'll pay you a little for your videos. You're really good at this stuff. He's a great technician, too, but you never know where that moves him in the company. And you got to look for those natural talents.
Yes.
Those gems. Because every one of my technicians has them. And when I'm exposed to that, I'm humbled, and I remind myself that when I'm about ready to get down on them as, hey, me boss, you employee, you do this. I'm like, man, this guy could be a piece that you're like, hey, what do we need to do on this situation?
Yeah. That's called decentralized command.
Well, you bring the technical term to that.
Is the concept that you're describing. Is knowing, hey, I don't know it all.
Mm-hmm. Did that come out of Art of War too?
No, that's from Jocko's book.
Oh, okay.
Decentralized command. So yeah. he teaches on that you have to delegate to other people.
Right.
If you don't, you burn yourself out, and you're not reaching the potential of growth. Because, like you said earlier, a threefold cord, that's not one person. Mm-mm. It's utilizing the three for all of their talents and specialties that can get 300% more, probably more actually than one person, because when you add them together, it's exponents. It's not multiplication, it's exponents.
Right.
That's the difference there. Mm-hmm. And I think there is something actually incredibly valuable in that story that you just told that I don't want people to miss.
Okay.
The technician that you hired, he could have said to himself, I'm stuck here. Mm-hmm. I'm in a dead-end job. Mm-hmm. Which was still a lucrative career. I mean, it's a very respectable position to be in. People strive for that position.
Yeah.
But he could have said that to himself. Well, this is just who I am. This is where I'm stuck. Or other people could say that to themselves too. Like, I'm just stuck in the situation I'm in. Well, I guess I'll just be this for the rest of my life till I retire. Yeah. Stop right there and stop looking at what you do. So he could say, well, I just organize fruit. Or I just put fruit in the right spots in this grocery store.
He did a lot of HR stuff too. He did.
Well, just for an example.
Yeah, right.
Like he could say that this is all I do.
Yeah.
Stop looking at what you do and start looking at what you know how to do. So you got to take that trait.
I can see it in his eyes too right now. Like he's talking, he's riding along, he's learning electrical, he's learning things, but I can see that fire, and he's looking in the company. He's like, man, I can help.
Yeah,
I can help right here. I can see it. And he knows it's not time yet, but he knows, and I hope he knows I know.
Right,
that time's coming.
It's because he's not focusing on what he did, because he can't stock fruit here. I'm not saying he was just a fruit stocker, but I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah,
but he's focusing on what the skill set and what he knew how to do. Like, I can organize this. I can set this up efficiently.
And I think it's exciting to him to see that while he is doing a whole career change, this goes back to what we were talking about with the young man I was talking about, like you're investing in something, not just the dollar. I think he's a little surprised as he comes to work that, yes, I have to learn this trade that I thought was this mountain is actually a molehill, is nothing. And all this work I put in, I'm going to be able to bring it into the trades and be possibly a manager quickly in the trades. And that's got to be so encouraging to somebody when you work your whole life. It's like me when I came out of the building business and got into the trades, and I'm like, man, this is going to be really, really difficult, only to realize that all those painful lessons actually kind of springboarded me a little bit forward.
Yeah. Like, you're not stuck in your means, but you will always be that man.
That's right.
Like, you carry the man with you. You can leave the means behind if it's a job. You know, there's certain things that you always will have in your situation. Like, I understand that. But if it's a job issue, you're looking at the wrong thing. Look at who you are. Don't look at what you're doing. You know?
Yeah. And if you're working, you know, for an employer, or you feel like you're at a dead end road, that needs to be communicated if you're an employee. And if it's scoffed at, because this guy was telling me a story, and I'm going to... The nice thing is all these technicians are going to be on here at some point. We build the other set so that we can kind of, you know, help negotiate that interview. But you're going to hear his story in detail. But one of the things that happened to him was his family got extremely sick when he was on vacation. Like, it was just a nightmare of a vacation, and I'm sure he doesn't mind me sharing some of this. And he was the head of the home in that situation for his mother and grandmother. And when he texted his boss and said, I'm coming back in Monday, I've got some situations, it's going to take me till Wednesday to get resolved, I'll be back in. His boss said, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. If you're flying in Sunday, why are you not going to be here Monday? And he knew right then it was time. You know, so if you don't, while bosses have a responsibility to promote the company and push it forward, there has to be a bit of empathy still there. You have to still hear the men. And, you know, I don't know if you know this, but this past couple of weeks, I've made it my point to say no to suggestions. No to, hey, why don't we just do this? Nope. And the reason I do that from time to time is just make sure they understand that, look, we're here to do it the hard way, the right way, you know, ACE way. And if and sometimes whether it's right way or wrong way, I just want it done my way. Because I have to answer to the customer. And we'll do that from time to time, but you can't be to where it's always just my way or the highway, my way or the highway. It doesn't work that way.
And that's where our messaging does help too. And I don't know if the technicians are doing this, you know, they can say yes or no. But at least it could have the possibility to put in their mind with whatever decision they're making. And this is why it's incredibly important to have messaging or have a structure or something there, is they can ask themselves, with what I'm doing right now, am I protecting or am I perfecting?
Yep.
If it doesn't check either of those boxes,
then you're
stop doing what you're doing.
Just taking the easy way out.
Stop doing what you're doing.
Yep.
Like, that you always have to have something that you're checking everything against. And that can go way deeper than just this, like just truth and scripture and everything. Like, but you have to have that that everything else is structured on. And for us, I think it is our messaging that goes a lot deeper than just the words, but it gives you that checkpoint to say, am I doing this that fits in with this, or am I doing this, or am I doing both, or am I doing neither?
Yeah, so important, so important. You know, when I talk with business owners in the area, which I make it my point to, and before we wrap this up, I do want to talk about one. So I was talking to, well, when I talk to business owners that are struggling, like that messaging is missing. They have forgotten their story, and I've been there. Business owners or people who are thinking about starting your own business, or even if you're just managing your life in your home, you're leading your family, you know, trying to find that message and that story, your story. You know, it's very, very important. I sat down with the owner of Nick Henry's, and he gave me permission to do this. If you are listening to this and can support that restaurant, please do so. It's a phenomenal story. Great guy, has given a lot to the community. My sons, when they play baseball, we go there and get free pancakes. They haven't done that since COVID. He'd do that for opening day. And that's just a small touch of the history. He and another guy started that business, and then their father owned the Jolly Trolley, which was behind that business for many, many years. We're talking about a business probably goes back 40 years or more now. So, and he's struggling. His business is struggling just due to, you know, maybe lack of interest, or, you know, maybe not knowing he's there, or just kind of becoming used to the business being there. And you're like, oh, let's go try the new thing. But, you know, it's got great food, great story, great service. If you're in there, he will sit down and talk with you. He will tell you the story. Ask him, you know. And he's the Henry part of the Nick Henry. So, but anyway, locals know him by another name. I'm drawing a blank on it now, but he is Henry. But anyway, I spent a lot of time talking with him, and he didn't realize how fascinating the story was. He told it to me, and I'm going to wait because he wants to give it to me in full. You know, okay. But you know, and he wants to talk about it up here, because that's why we're doing this. I mean, we're talking about us, and we're giving people insight and, you know, our 2 cents worth on what we believe to be, you know, principles that are solid. But, you know, this is a platform for other businesses in the community to talk, and us to talk about them. So he has a fascinating story, and I was listening. I was just spellbound. I was listening to how it happened, and their history, and his dad's history, and the picture on the wall I didn't realize there, and there were columns in there that I didn't realize that used to be walls that were signs of the expansion of the business through the years. And I'm like, there's your story, man. And I did the same thing I tell y'all to do. I told his whole story in the ChatGPT. You know, I hit a button. I said, look, you don't have to work hard for your story. You've already done that. You've done that over the past 40 years, man. So you just need to tell it now. And so I am here to be, you know, a vehicle, a voice to help local businesses shout their story, because they're the best stories. I don't want that business to go away and be a corporate business there. They don't have a story. Not really. You know? So anyway, I want to make sure we had that shout out there to Nick Henry's. Great people, great restaurant. So make sure we remember those. Also, I want to make a note that we're going to be having a community event. Is that December 6th?
I think so.
December 6th, we're going to be at Wren Park, Hurricane Park there, where the baseball fields are. We've the community's been nice enough to loan that to us to be able to do an old-time field day. Coach of Spearman, Jared Darnell, is going to put together a bunch of events for kids. We're going to have some bouncy houses. We're going to have few vendors, and if you are a vendor that wants to just set up a tent and sell some home-baked goods or whatever you want to do, it's just a community event. There's no charge whatsoever. I think the only thing we're going to do is just have everybody sign a release waiver, just so that if anybody gets hurt, nobody's responsible for that. But just a good time, old-fashioned field day. That's going to be December 6th. Hopefully it doesn't rain. You know, it's going to be cold, so we're going to have a coffee truck out there, stuff like that. So you'll be seeing more about that on Facebook, so pass it along. Everybody, you think of anything else we want to cover? I just kind of want to go over our week, man. Like, we had a wild week. Lots of stuff.
Do you want to go into the things we were kind of looking into? Right now we're hitting almost right at the hour mark, so we got a little time. If you want to hitting on like the Google AI, all that stuff. I mean, we can have a little fun with it if you want to.
All right, so Josh is gonna rope me into a few more minutes here. That's good. So we said, what is AI? and that's where we kind of started this podcast, remember? So, and we were like, we kind of started looking into like, what is AI? We used AI to research AI. And you go ahead and tell the technical terms, and I'll tell the story.
Well, I don't know how much.
Okay, well, I'll tell the story first. I came up
with a lot of different things, but you can go ahead and
You want to start it with the story?
Sure.
So I think we had ChatGPT kind of come up with this thing where it says, there was a lady named Miss Google that had this amazing library back in the day. And she had a book for everybody. And her library went miles out into the cornfield, all the way down to the creek bed. I mean, she knew everybody wanted to come, but she couldn't get the books to everybody. So she goes down to the general store one day and she meets this old guy. He's sitting there smoking his pipe and he's bored. He's just like, he said he's got teams of mules, he's got oxen, he's got steamboats, he's got a train. And he's like, I got all this cool stuff, but I just don't have any goods to haul to people. And they're like, well, I got all these goods. And they start talking. They like each other. Mm-hmm. They do, man. That's
like old man Amazon, ain't it?
That was old man Amazon.
That's old man Amazon.
Old man Amazon.
Yep.
Yeah. And so the rest is history. They got married.
Oh.
And they had this little boy. He doesn't really have a name because some call him Claude, some call him Chat GPT, some call him Perplexity.
Who's Claude?
Claude's, you don't know who Claude is?
Grog?
Claude. Claude is like a big time competitor to Chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
okay.
But anyway, they wrestled over all kinds of names before the baby came, and they just settled on old AI. Mm-hmm. So they just said, "Hey, AI, get over here, boy."
Mm-hmm.
And that's what we have. So that's the history of AI.
So what did he do?
Oh, AI.
Yeah, what did he do?
AI was he's a super dude. He was able to get all of mama's books and all of daddy's trains, and he was able to bundle them, and he was able to put it in your hands at lightning speed. So he was the conglomeration of Google and Amazon.
Yeah.
So Mr. Amazon was the muscle.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, Mr. Amazon was the muscle, and Miss Google was the brain. So Google's made it a mission to scan every piece of literature in the world and have it available for you. And Amazon gets it to you.
Right. Anything and everything.
In a nutshell. That's what we think AI is anyway. Right. Am I close?
Story.
Hey, look.
No, it was
gotta
good.
keep
it was
simple,
good,
man.
No, I liked it. I like that.
All right, now you go ahead and get into the nuts and bolts of it, because that's how I understand AI.
No, I mean that was a great breakdown for sure. It was a lot. You came in and I was here late, a little bit over, and you're like, "Oh, Mikey coming in today?" I was like, "No, I'm just in a rabbit hole over here, just going down." But yeah, I mean, you hit on it. Basically, I was kind of researching Google's project of Google Books, where they tried to index every piece of human text, basically, and just have all of that in their database. And I tried to start researching, get a little conspiracy side to it, but of like, okay, well, how does that link to Amazon, seeing that they used to be a bookseller? Google's over here scanning every book in the world. Amazon wants to possess every book in the world and be able to get the physical to everybody, which later became every good known to man, not just books. So I was kind of researching their potential relationship and both of them becoming these powerhouses, because to me it's if knowledge is power, then what greater power is there as far as the world domain goes than the person who possesses all knowledge at an instant access? You can't beat that.
Do you know what a Google is? Do they still teach that in school?
It's a huge number. It's a massive number.
It's the largest number any computer or something has ever made it to, but it still represents infinity. So, in a way,
right?
It's like like 1 with a million zeros behind it, or something like that.
To a million exponents, or it's a huge number.
Yeah. So I guess that's where they took their name. Like they have no inclination whatsoever to ever stop growing or collecting information. It's growing faster than they can control.
Yeah, and it can be a long game because a copyright has a 100-year precedence. So there are a lot of books now that you can Google and go read the entire book if it was written before 1925 or 1925 or before. You can now go look at that book in its full entirety because a copyright expires. Think about this, Justin. You tell me that there isn't a monopoly when every major book hits copyright. They can now literally possess every one. If everything else shuts down, like if people are like, well, we're not going to shop at Barnes and Noble.
That's how you get books rewritten too, and history rewritten.
Oh, and that's the Orwellian 1984 route, which is if anybody has not read that book, please do, and go terrify yourself and not be able to sleep at night because of how scarily accurate it is. And this was written, I think, in the 50s or 60s. And I could be corrected on that.
Orwellian 1984?
1984 by George Orwell.
Okay.
That's probably the biggest like dystopian novel. Oh, I'm gonna give it to you. I think I got it on my shelf down there.
Okay.
But yeah, think about that. When everything that is worth reading loses its copyright of who possesses it now, where does it go? Google. They have all of it. They then possess every piece of text. So if every store were hypothetically to shut down, which I mean, am I saying we're going to go that route? No, not necessarily, but we see a huge shift away from physical stores. They have everything. They're the monopoly. They own knowledge. They own data. Who can compete with that? They own everything. They own everything you are and everything you could know.
It's crazy.
Have fun.
Yeah.
And that's where the Amazon partnership comes in. But as far as the AI side goes, that's where I described it like this. Like you're reading a book, you have all the words there, spaces in between each word. Generally, in the past, in those spaces is where you're thinking. That's where the human brain can attach everything I've just consumed before and make it into one conglomerate idea that makes sense. And I can glean meaning from that altogether. What AI is there to do is to fill in those gaps, which sounds great. But when you lose the gaps, you lose the time to think, which means you thus lose the meaning. Because you can't think anymore. You can't discern meaning. You don't know what meaning means.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's very powerful.
There's no lesson learned if it's cheap.
Right.
And free. Like, you don't... It goes back to the story where you say any story worth telling usually is not a fun trip. Like, you don't sit back and talk about, like, easy things in your life. Life is great memories. But, like we talked about earlier in one of the episodes, I think, the camping trip that went bad or the hunting trip where you sunk a boat or, those are the stories. Those are the ones where you had skin in the game quite literally, right? The same thing with learning. When you have those, I was looking at some old books that I will always have, and I've even given to my boys that were like my mentor books in business or in like building, how to cut roofs. If you see me out kind of working on roofs and I can do it, with a calculator, I can build whatever I want to build very easily, but that didn't come easy. But what was very sad, I was riding my brother in a truck the other day, and he's a diesel mechanic by trade, and he said, I'm going to ask GPT this really hard question. He asked it, and it broke down, and then it started saying, you want the fuel rail pressures, you want this, you want that, and he's like, no, I went to school for a long time and slaved to get these understandings. And I said, I know. And so I said, let me just check it with mine. I said, hey, I want to put an irregular pitch roof on. I want a lining boxing height or cornice height. I want a 17-inch overhang on one side. I want a 9-pitch roof on this side and a 12 on the other side. What is my knee wall height? What is my height above plate on my rafter cut? What are my setbacks and plunge cuts? Like, if you're a carpenter, you know what I just said? Or backing bevels, I said, but if you're not a carpenter, you don't have a clue what I just said.
No.
This is stuff that I remember Barry D. Muscle wrote a great book on it. I learned it from a German craftsman, Marshall Gross. Got his book. This was stuff that was done with long form trigonometry if you wanted to pre-cut a roof on the ground, and you were highly paid as a builder, a framer, if you could do this stuff, because I could have a team give me measurements up on the walls. I could run in my calculator and I could pre-cut all the rafters and send them up in stacks for them to nail without them ever having to have anything to measure. And that took a portion of my life to learn. And so I did that. And I threw it in Chat GPT, and it spit out all the right answers instantly. Mm-hmm. I'm like, I'm done, man. Like, this is crazy. But you know what? The person who does that and chokes through it and gets it done that way, it means nothing to them.
Yeah.
You know, I've got a lifetime of stories. I've got hours around a table. I've got models that I've built. Mm-hmm. I've got all these things that I can talk about. And men and friends that I have that have debated these theories in roof cutting over the years, those are where the meat and potatoes are. Yeah. You know, not just the answer. The answer ultimately is just the answer. It's the journey to get that answer that's so important. So while we are huge and we're going to help businesses with, you know, I mean, I sat down with the guy at Nick Henry's and showed him how to do a lot of things with AI to just help expedite things and maybe help streamline things for him to free his mind up to be creative, because that, you know me, to be creative
and communicative.
And communicative. But, you know, to be creative, you have to have a certain level of stress off of you, you know, and so some of these AI tools can relieve you of a lot of the mundane, and that's where I draw the line, because you still need to take in that old hard copy book. I don't like reading on a computer.
Me neither.
I like a book.
I can't stand it.
Yeah. So you want the journey still. Make yourself go through the journey for information. If it's something you really like or something you think you're going to be interested in or passionate about, please buy the magazines, read the book, go out and try it first, and then when you hit a wall, use AI to help push you through the wall. But the fun is in the journey.
Yeah, there's a story I'd like to share with you. You ever heard The Cave by Plato? The allegory of the cave?
Probably.
Okay,
but it's not. I'm drawing a blank because I have read some of his stuff.
To briefly recap it. So basically it's telling the story and says, and it's a dialogue. A lot of his stuff was just dialogue, told stories.
Yeah, right.
Imagine you have a set of prisoners. They have been captive for their entire lives. They are sat in chairs, and they are bound in such a way they cannot turn their heads left, right, around. They can't move. They're just staring at a wall. Mm-hmm. Behind them is a fire. In front of that fire, they will move puppetry. Mm-hmm. So animal shapes or finger puppets or whatever. It'll cast that shadow on the wall. Mm-hmm. That's what these prisoners have been looking at for their entire lives, are just shadows. And of course, it becomes something to them. That is their reality, because that's all they know.
Right.
So they'll begin to name them. Mm-hmm. They'll begin to play games with each other, with the other prisoners, of like, okay, who can discern what this is the fastest? Mm-hmm. Who can figure, oh, that's a buffalo, that's a bird. You know, they'll do that. So imagine, and they're in a cave. That's where the name comes from. They're all stuck in a cave.
Right.
Imagine a prisoner is unbound, released, and they can walk toward the mouth of the cave. First thing, they're going to look back at the fire, and their eyes will be damaged. Temporarily, you know, they're staring at something bright that they've never seen before in their life. That person could have the temptation, oh, I'm turning back around, I'm sitting back down in my little puppet show. If they continue forward, they go past the fire, they come to the mouth of the cave. The sun will then temporarily damage their vision and be more pain, more to endure. They then could, at that point, say, oh, no, this is too much. This is painful. I got to turn around. I got to go back to my puppet show. If he endures further and goes out, he sees the real world. He sees what is the actual animal that was played as the puppet before. Here's the kicker. That person goes back in to the cave. sits amongst his prisoners again, those prisoners will now deem him as lesser than, because his eyes have adjusted to the real world.
Mm-hmm.
He no longer can discern the fastest of the shadows, because he cannot see the darkness as those who live in the darkness. He can't see those things.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody thinks he's the loser now. He's decrepit. He is crippled. But he is the only one who has lived, who has seen reality, who has experienced it.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think we're at. The shadow puppets, that's AI.
Mm-hmm.
That's everything we're being fed and shown. It looks like it. It's shaped like it. It's silhouetted just like the real thing. But I have to go through the pain of looking into the fire, going past it, looking into the sun, going past it. And that's a journey. You got to walk up that hill and climb up out of that cave.
Right.
But I'm the only one who lived.
And you know, it doesn't come free. There's a certain amount of boldness that has to be in that character to push past that, not wanting to retreat back to comfortable.
Yep.
And, you know, if you want to do anything different, if you want to break a pattern in your life or your family's life, and you want to break out, it's going to feel very awkward, very uncomfortable.
People are going to look down on you.
And then
you're going to lose your friends.
And then when you arrive and you have insights that they don't have, you may be isolated. You may find yourself on an island. Yeah, there's very good points. Very good.
But it's harder to do it that way, to go find it yourself, to live. But who has the real story? Only that person. The others will go to their grave living in shadows.
And I feel like that's going to happen to this whole generation. I think a lot of them are going to wake up and find themselves at the end of a life and ask themselves, what did I do with my life? And have a lot of regret. And major depressions are coming. You know, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. This is a confession a little bit, or a communication, but I have lived. And I try to remind myself of that. Like people are like, man, you find yourself in all kinds of stuff. And some people even, I feel like, are a little resentful towards me about it. You know, different, you know, family members sometimes and things, you know, you feel like maybe they think you're just trying to do too much, and you're not. You're just wanting to experience. You want to not leave anything on the table. And that's kind of my nature, you know, anyway. And I'm not going to apologize for that, but it definitely does. Sometimes you are looked at very, very differently, you know, when you do things, or when you push past maybe what, you know, your families have always done, your friends have always done, or maybe you bring a different idea or a different type of business to a community. It's not always open with welcome arms, you know. You know, you may get like, oh, you know, we're going to get you out of here. You're not one of us, and things like that. But, you know, truth has a way of leveling itself out. You do good work. You're kind to people. You help bring them up. You know, you expose yourself and are vulnerable with them, that you look, I mean, outside looking in, you see this, but here we're exposing ourselves every day, like just who we are. Like there's nothing, today's unscripted. So, you know, you're getting just communications and conversations that we have a lot just to keep this business, interesting, you know, and creative. So anyway,
because that person, I mean, they're going to come back damaged eyes and sunburnt, and they're going to get made fun of. They're going to get looked down on because the other people are like, well, look at me with my pure untouched skin that has never been burnt by anything. You know, it's all in the perspectives.
Yeah.
And that person, they may just have to have that victory in themselves, and that's the highest victory.
And that's why you want to pick what you're trying to win in, because it's got to mean something to you. Because you don't want to lose friends and you don't want to lose family over things and it be a hollow victory. You know, and you can see people deal with that from time to time. You know, you chase this dream at the expense of all else and have no family. And you know,
this is not an advocation to abandon family or friends by any means.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
But you will then identify who is your real friend and who is your real family by the prisoner that says, I'm going to get up too. I trust you. You got up and went out there. I know you look ragged and dusty and awful and hurt when you came back in here, but you're telling me it's worth it, and I trust you. So I'm going to get up out of this too, and I'm going to go see what you just saw. Let's go do it together. And then you journey on further, and the other people will stay back, and that's okay. They were there for a season. They were there for a time.
So chase your vision, chase your hope, chase your reality.
Light at the end of the tunnel.
That light, chase that light
at the end of the cave.
The end of the cave. It all came together. Man, let's just end it right there. That's a good one. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man, I enjoy it. Thank you, everybody, for listening to us go on and on. This was Unscripted Friday. This Fun Friday here. Just kind of getting into our routine, our life. It was actually a bit of a push to make it up here today, and I'm glad I did. We are not going to let you down. We're going to put one out every Monday. I don't care if it's just one or two people that listen to this. We're going to share our message, and at least you know who we are. If you call Ace Plumbing, Electrical, Heating, and Air, you're going to know the bold white and blue truck's going to come up there, and they're going to protect or they're going to perfect. The message is consistent from top of the organization down to the helpers that are here. So, Josh, thank you for all your work putting all this together for me.
Yes, sir.
And, hopefully we can get that other set up here soon and
shooting
get some more.
for first week of December.
Nice. So
that's what we're going to shoot for.
Bring a bunch of other guys up here because I'm sure everyone's anxious to meet some new people in the community.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.
See you.